Hello, everyone. This is Kama with the online talk show, Pursuing Your Passion, or Kama Speaks. I forgot I changed the name a while ago. And I am live. I'm live on YouTube, Google Plus, and I'm on Periscope. This is a new app that I found out about, and I'm trying to work it concurrently, and hopefully everything will work out. And today we are talking to Sharmaine Randle. Thank you so much, Sharmaine, for being on my show.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to give a little background. We're going to talk just a little bit about who you are. One thing about Sharmaine is that she is working this business Leap for Life with her husband. So it's not just Sharmaine, it's her and her husband, although he's not on the broadcast. And I'm trying to bring up my bio here for you. Just a little bit about Sharmaine with Leap for Life Coaching. I'm sorry. It's a cooperative effort between Sharmaine and Ezra Randle. They've been friends for over 22 years and married for 19 years. They've endured many trials, tribulations that have given them a life experience. They continue to inspire each other through their spiritual beliefs and relentless dedication to their personal and educational growth. I realize I need to slow down. They have been instrumental in helping others through their shared knowledge, and they've enjoyed helping others. They've developed Leap so that they can expand in sharing the blessings that they've been given and hope to share the same thing with you. So I love this because they are a couple. They're working together, and that's something that we need, more couples working together. Sharmaine, thank you again for being on my show, and I want you to explain a little bit about who you are, who your company is, and how you and your husband got started.
Okay. I'm Sharmaine, plain country girl from Virginia. Pretty much, I mean, we have been married, like you said, for over 19 years. We started back going to school together. Actually, it was Ezra's idea to go to school for counseling. I thought he was kind of crazy, but you know, we had been to some marriage counseling, sessions. Didn't work out too great, not on our behalf, but on the counselor's behalf. Some Christian counseling. When we went to school, we learned a lot. We went to Liberty University, which is a Christian-based school. They taught us a lot. And we just decided that because people kept coming to us, asking us for us advice, talking to us about different things, wanting our advice on things, that we would go into business and do it. Our main focus really is marriage counseling. I do a little bit of women, working with women and doing different things with women, trying to inspire them, to help them build their self-esteem. So we decided, let's say around May, to go ahead and open up our own office and start working within the community of Spotsylvania, and that's where we are as of right now.
Oh, wow. So what made you and your husband decide to say, you know what, we are going to make this a family business and work alongside each other? Because many times husbands and wives do find themselves in a lot of trouble sometimes working together, but I know that it's something that you guys have vowed to work through.
I think part of it is because we have, and within our marriage, we have struggled through a whole bunch of different things. And one of the things, as we struggled through it, we learned that if you stick together, most things work. It was my husband's idea to go and do to get our degree, to do some type of counseling and and open our own business. Our general idea was to do it out of our basement. So really that was kind of how it all started. We went back and forth about doing it different ways. The county of Virginia or Spotsylvania really doesn't allow us to do anything out of our office, out of our home as a base office. So we actually had to go out and seek and do, and get our own office. But I think we work very well together. I mean, we've had our different trials and tribulations with each other. And through that, we've learned to use it to inspire and help other people. One of the things that we both have learned through this, going to see different marriage counselors, is that, man, there's some crazy folks out there. There's some people out there that will, we've been through a Christian counselor who didn't, practice, technically Christian counseling, but said he did. And I think doing through all that stuff, it really was just a turn off that, you know, hey, we need to get out there and be that couple that is aspiring and helping marriages to grow and do the right things. And not only that, but to show it through a Christian base and to do it, you know, show it how, you know, how it's supposed to be done. You know, we learned a lot, you know, going to school and what counselors should be doing for us, but they just wasn't trying to do. So.
Well, you just said what counselors should be doing for you.
Mm-hmm.
As Christians, one thing that I found, especially growing up in the church, I don't know anything too much about what happened with the marrieds, but I know single wives, I don't remember too much. But as a young person, I don't believe that we were properly even taught about dating. We weren't taught how to become a wife. We weren't taught those important information, because that's something that we plan on growing into, to be a wife or being a good husband. What are some things that you teach people that may, or you counsel with people when they feel like, you know what, I really don't even have a good background. I'm trying to be the best person, that best spouse I can be. I need help. What is some type of advice you can give that person?
One of the main things that I would personally give is, first of all, they need to seek themselves first. Yes. Oftentimes people go in and they get married and they don't even know who they are. And before you can take care, mentor, love, or try to, you have to first be in love with yourself to be able to help someone. Once you've learned yourself, you can teach that person who you are and what you want from them. But I think the biggest key is communication, you know, because if you can't communicate what you want, then you can't help the marriage. You know, a lot of married couples, they decide not to talk to each other. They keep whatever their thoughts or feelings in, and that doesn't help the situation at all.
You know, I was just telling my daughter yesterday, we were talking about a couple of things. We're talking about, my screen looked like it was jumping, so I had to get out of some things. We were talking about relationships and talking about communication. And I had explained to her, sometimes I had a problem with a guy that I'm talking to right now. One of the issues is that sometimes I'll just let stuff build, and then I'll say something. Now, I may not fly off the handle, but sometimes I do in a way. But it's hard sometimes, because it's like you want to say something, but at the same time you don't. But at the same time you need to. You don't know the type of mood. You don't know the reaction. How do we just speak without holding so much in and then flying off? Because I realize that's the cause of a lot of people with communication issues, with divorce, because they wait till last minute and then everything hits the fan.
Well, one of the things that I have learned to practice. I didn't do it right away. What I have learned to do now is I do this thing where I'll say, look, I need to say this just to say it, and we'll talk about it later, and we need to regroup on it. Because you're right. Sometimes when we say things off the handle, it tends to make things escalate. You just need to say it, but make sure the person knows, hey, I'm just saying this right now for, you know, to give out information about it, but we need to come back to it and regroup on it later when we both think we're both calm on it. And one of the other things I like to tell people to do, you know, as I coach and mentor them, is if you have a hot topic and you think that it's going to escalate, write it down. So that, you know, and sometimes you can write it down and then you can exchange it. Hey, I'm going to write this down. These are my thoughts and my feelings. I want you to take this, read it, and then come back to me when you think that we can have a calm conversation about it. Because sometimes that lets the person see it from a calm perspective. You're not there because, you know, we, especially as women, we tend to just let our emotions go. We throw our hands and stuff in the air and we don't even try to look at it. And of course, the guys looking at, we're already flipping out because our hands are everywhere. So I've learned that if you write it down and you pass it to them and say, hey, look, read this. This is just what I'm thinking. You know, when you think that we can work this out, or we can sit down and have a conversation, you know, let's group back, or, you know, give up a set time. Hey, I'm gonna be an adult about this. This is not the thing I like. This is what I want you to read. This is what I wrote down on my feelings and thoughts. Hey, let's come back today, or let's go to dinner tonight or something, and let's talk about it in a calm manner. That way they kind of already know what you're looking at.
Right. And I'm going to kind of go back to that you were talking about all this goes back to with understanding who you are first. We
Yes.
are in a society where everything has to be done right now. I want to be married right now. I want to be in a relationship right now. It's like, forget the get to know you stage. Most people are ready to jump into a marriage and jump into a relationship without really being friends first. And that's something that you had said in your bio, or that was mentioned in your bio, that you guys were friends. You didn't say you were boyfriend, girlfriend, which I'm sure you were, or maybe you guys were friends, realized this was it, he proposed, you guys got married. But whatever the case may be, people tend to forget that there is a process. And when you get to really know who the person is, then, and get to know who you are and be happy with who you are, it makes things better. And that's why I started my nonprofit called Loving Me First, because I realized I got to start with me first. That's how I was stuck in a domestic violence relationship, because I was not loving who I was first. How does one begin to even find themselves to say, okay, let me re-examine who I am. Let me understand who I am and love me first before I even present myself or get myself out there to get in a relationship and prepare myself for marriage?
Good question. That's a good question. She got me there. You know, even for me, it took me a long time to realize that and that's even through all this time of marriage, that before I can make my husband happy or, take care of my kids or do the right thing, I've got to seek me. And that's a hard task, because there are a lot of people out there, a lot of women, men out there too, who are seeking either the almighty dollar, or they're seeking that relationship, or they're seeking kids, and they haven't been getting to grow. I think the first thing first is for the ladies, we need to definitely learn how to grow ourselves and take care of ourselves first. We need to teach this to our girls as they're, as they're knee high and they started talking to us, instead of talking to them about dancing, we should talk to them about how to take care of themselves. Talking to them about their hair is beautiful, that they look good, whether they're big or small, making sure that we instill in them that, hey, you know what, you do matter. Talk to them about all the basic things, because it starts with the basics first. They're not going to realize that until we as the mothers, which is why I focus on a lot of younger ladies and the women. Hey, we've got to love ourselves first, and we have to do that before we can even go out there and be a parent, be a wife, be a boss. Because if we don't show that, then the people that we're raising aren't going to learn it. So it has to go back to the basics first. It really does. And then from there, we have to be that living model, especially us women, because us women, think about it, everybody looks at us. The men look at us, the kids look at us, our next door neighbors look at us, the bosses look at us. So until we decide that, hey, we're going to take a stand and we're going to love ourselves first and not accept anything more than that, that's where it really has to start at. We have to appreciate ourselves and show that in public and in our houses, and make sure everybody knows that we are important.
Yes. Excellent answer. And you know what? You said that everybody looks at us, and that's the thing they do. Everybody looks at us. It's like you go to mama for everything. I don't care how great your marriage is. I don't care how great your dad is with the kids. Sometimes it's just like, go to mom. But they do look up for us, and we do have to start with our young people, our young girls. That's, to me, I have a daughter. That's my job. That's my duty, to teach her correctly. Because if I don't, she's going to be just like the other girls that she tells me about, that it breaks my heart, because they don't even know where to start. We were at dinner yesterday, and she's telling me how, nowadays these girls, they're like, a guy has to be 6 feet tall. He has to wear certain outfits or certain shoes. He has to buy you this and buy you that before they will be with them. 15 years old, shallow, 16 years old. How are they going to buy you something and you don't even have a job? What you don't get for yourself? That's the question. But that goes too into your life coaching. You do life coach, which is something that I believe every parent should be, that life coach for their child growing up. Let's talk about how you're able to help people through life coaching.
I wish I had this way back when I had my kids, because it would have helped me out a great deal. Really, when I talk, and I do a lot of one-on-ones with some of the people that I work with, and one of the things, I tell them, especially when they start talking about, my kids, this and that, I always tell them, so what are you doing to set the example? Because if you're not setting the example, everybody around you is following you. So, you know, you have to set that example. You know, what do you want for yourself? If that's what you want, then you have to start acting like that. You can't, you know, be out here being a hoochie mama, whatever, and expecting a guy or anybody to respect you in that manner if you're not living that. You have to, you know, you have to have that value. So in life coaching, you know, most people come to me because they want to achieve a certain goal. You know, I think that yeah, the majority of them come to me because they want to achieve a goal. So most of them, they know what they want. It's about getting, you know, asking them, hey, so what have you done? You know, what are you doing to move forward? What can you do? You know, and making sure they go in the right direction. So most people that take on life coaching, you know, they come for that thing. They know what they want 95% of the time. You know, it's either they want to lose weight, you know, they want a better job, you know, they want entrepreneurship, they want to start their own business. They know what they want. They just don't know in what direction to go. So I just kind of guide them and help them, but they have to have the desire to want to do something.
Yes. You have to have the desire. I do a prayer every single Monday. I've been doing it for now 3 years. And every Monday, I do this prayer. I had to put it out there one day. I said, as much as I pray for you, if you don't believe that this thing can turn around or things can change, I can pray till the walls fall down. But if you don't trust it and you don't believe it, it's not going to happen. So you have to know that whatever you're trying to pursue can happen and it's not impossible. Now, as a life coach, can you get a little deeper into how you're able to help someone? Because a year ago, I heard of a life coach, never knew what a life coach was until I was able to get one into my life.
Okay. So, you know, it starts off with general questions. You know, most times they come to you and they'll say, I don't know, let's give an example. My kids are getting on my nerve. You know, okay, so give me an example of what they're doing. You know, what are they doing? They're basically just asking them general questions, because really, same like counseling, they just, you know, they get their own answer out. You know, you're just getting them in the right direction to show them, hey, look, this is what, you know, I'm doing wrong and I need to fix it. So it's just a whole bunch of questions and answers. And really, my job isn't to tell you what you need to do. My job is to get you to realize what you need to do.
And that's what people need, those that are watching. If anybody's watching, I have a few viewers. If you have questions, please feel free to write a question. If it doesn't pop up, go on Facebook under groups and look under Kama Speaks, K-A-M-A Speaks. Or if you're watching from a thread from Facebook, ask a question, we'll get to them. But that's one of the things that people have a problem with, is just even getting up and getting going and getting motivated. How can you motivate somebody that's saying, I want to be on the right path, I want to go, I know what I'm capable of, but it just seems like my setbacks are holding me back. How can I move forward because I know I have something in me?
They need to set goals. You need to make sure they set goals and they hold themselves accountable for their goals, because without goals, they're going to keep going around and around and around and around. Most people, they have these issues, but they've got no way or no goal, no desire on how to even to accomplish it. So they really need to set the goals, and then they need to hold themselves accountable for it. You know, if I fall off, I'm going to do this, you know, so that they can stay in the same track that they need to stay in.
And when you say set goals, how should they set a goal? What is your idea of goal setting and making sure that they follow those goals?
When they set goals, that's more along the line of whatever so you need to first figure out what their biggest issue is. Once they figure out what the biggest issue, the biggest thing, because, you know, they'll come to you with 20 things. So you need to figure out what the most biggest thing that they're working, you know, that they need to work on. And from that, they take baby steps, you know, because, you know, somebody could say that, you know, well, my kid is bad, I don't know how to control him. Well, what's the causing factor of it? So we can set goals. So once they figure out that I'm just not controlling them, okay, well, how do you make someone be in control? You start off from the very beginning. The baby, what do you do as a parent to make sure that they're following your direction, that they're listening to you? And it could be as simple as choices and consequences. Okay, fine. I'm not giving them choice and consequences. Well, I need to now. So then that would be one of your baby steps. Make sure that everything that they do has a choice and a consequence. And that's just a simple baby step.
And do you recommend putting it in writing it down? How do you recommend that they would actually hold themselves? How does one hold themselves accountable for what they say they want to do?
It depends on the client. Most clients, they have to be visual so that they don't see it. I do sometimes make them write contracts, and the contract is between me and them. We have it. They have a little assessment sheet they have to do, and there they write down what their goals are, how they're going to accomplish it, how they're going to stay on track. And then if they're a person who just, they don't pay attention, then I would make them do visuals. It could be put on a refrigerator. It could be put in their room. It could be a phone reminder that goes off that tells them, hey, I need to do this. Did I do this today? And that will help them stay on track. Some people are more visual. Some people just need a reminder. It all depends on the person, the individual client.
Okay. I'm checking just to see if I have any questions. Still no questions from anyone I see. Okay, well, I want to kind of go back to you and your husband, working together as a family, or yeah, you guys are a family, working together as a couple. What is some advice you can give to other couples that want to work together that way? That sometimes a woman in her own way, we can tend to be more dominant. I know when it comes to business wise, if me and the guy that I'm dating, let's just say that him and I decide to go into business together, I know I can sometimes be more dominant in that sense, not in a relationship type sense. What is your way to have like a balance while you guys are working and then separating business life to personal life?
That's a good question. Well, really, there's no balance, however, but I think one of the things is you have to know who's going to be the chief and who's going to be the Indian. And you have to set that boundary from the very beginning. And that's difficult, especially when you're dealing with a married couple. But someone is going to have to lead the pack because someone's always going to be the timid person. So someone has to lead the pack, and you need to sit down as you're doing your business plan, or whatever you're doing to figure it out. One of you need to decide who's going to lead it. But at the same time, there should be no decisions being made until you two correlate it together. You two make sure you understand and moving forward, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And with us, I do a lot of text messages. Sometimes I send him emails, hey, and if he doesn't respond to me in a certain amount of time, then I'm going to take the lead and I'm going to jump, because in business, sometimes you can't wait. So, but I do communicate, and I'll tell him later, and he'll say, well, you didn't tell me. Yeah, I did read your email. Hey, read your text message. And that sometimes it works that way.
Yeah. And then what about the person that is in business and they have a spouse that's saying, I don't support you in what you do, or you can do whatever you want to, just don't bring it to me. I don't want to hear about it. How does that person, that other spouse that wants that support, needs that balance, wants, that mainly wants that support, how do you talk to that person, and what is your advice to them? Would you tell them, you know what, maybe you shouldn't get into it? Or would you tell them to move forward if their spouse is saying it's okay to move forward, I'm just not going to support it? How does one deal with that? How would you deal with that?
Are you sure they're in business together?
Oh, not in business together. No, I'm saying I meant to say in a relationship. I'm sorry, not in business together. And yeah, if the person let's just say I'm married, I want to go in business. My husband doesn't want to be in business with me, or doesn't want me to be in business, or doesn't care if I do business, but he's just not going to support anything I do, is what I'm saying. Do I go on, or do I just respect my husband and just say, forget it, I don't want to cause problems?
Well, that goes back to, you seeking yourself, because sometimes you are going to have where the significant other isn't going to agree with your business thing. I would have to say you'd have to know your partner first of all, but that's difficult. My advice to them is you need to sit down and talk to your spouse and find out why. Why don't they support you? Is it because y'all are just in two different roles? Is it because that person doesn't believe it will be profitable? So I would say make sure that you get into more detail, make sure that person understands and really find out why, because you two are a couple, so you do want their support. I would really be against trying to go into a business where your significant other or spouse doesn't want to support you or agree, because it could make it really, really difficult if you don't have the support from your spouse. And you could end up in a whole different realm. So, you have to figure out, one, is this business worth it? Me not having the support of my spouse, but really you got to go back to and find out why they don't. And if it's just not enough information or they don't think it's going to work, then you have to provide the information to make sure they understand to get their buy-in. But you definitely want their buy-in, because you're going to have bigger issues than having a business outside of the other one. You're going to have marital issues if especially if you're using marital money. You need money to do that. So I would, yeah, I would venture to say that you have to make sure you get that buy-in.
Yes. Well, and it goes back to communication. Communication is key. Before, I'm not the therapist, I'm just kind of piggybacking off of what Sharmaine said. When you are going into business for yourself, and I've heard it before, where the spouse maybe won't so much support, they don't care, but they won't support. Show them all the facts, show them everything, because sometimes a vision that's given to you is not given to the other person, and they need to see a little more. You may see, a grand thing, but the way you present it to them could be so small, or could be just not enough, and it just doesn't sound right. But I always believe too, when we get into relationships, it even goes back to the person that you met and who you were when you met them, because you guys know up front, for the most part, where you're headed in life. And normally, if it's something you want to do and you have a good spouse or somebody on your team that really loves you and really wants to support you, they'll at least hear you out, and they may give some opinions that you may not like, but at the end of the day, make sure you communicate, because divorce to me is just, it shouldn't be, but it does happen. Probably a little more too often than it should. So make sure you communicate. All right, Sharmaine, we're going to start wrapping it up. I want you to just talk to the audience a little bit more about how you can help them, how you can assist them in the life coaching and in the therapy, what they need to do, and how they can get in contact with you.
Lead for Life. We help all people, men, women, children, of course, married couples. We do all kinds of things with Lead for Life. We do retreats. We do focus groups, marriage groups. We do marriage counseling. We do marriage groups where we get together and we kind of combine different married couples so that you guys can kind of feed off of each other. We do all kinds of things. There's no limit. We do it by Skype. We do it in our office. We will meet you. So anybody that has a desire that want to do better, but just don't know how to, or just stuck in their room, or there's people who have low self-esteem and is scared to reach out there, I encourage you to give either me a call or Ezra a call. And for the ladies, I encourage you to join my Women's of Encouragement group. We're doing a lot of great things. We're going to be doing some retreats next year. We're going to be inviting a whole bunch of different women and having fun, where the sky's the limit. We're not just staying in Virginia. My first trip is planned in Jamaica. So if you are encouraged, I encourage you to go to my website at www.leapforlife.com, or you can call us at 571-377, the word LEAP, which is 5327, and give us a call.
Awesome. You are going to Jamaica.
Yes.
Sounds fun. That sounds fun. Make sure you share the information with me so I can get it out to my audience as well. And thank you again so much for being on my show. And for those that are watching, make sure you continue to stay connected with me. I always have wonderful guests on my show that's from different walks of life, that's doing different types of businesses that can help you. And it may be you out there that may be interested in potentially being on my show. You may have a great business that you want to put out there. Make sure that you let me know by inboxing me or emailing me at booking@commaspeaks.com. That's booking@commaspeaks.com. Also, please follow me on my Facebook page under Comma Speaks. That's KAMA Speaks. Follow me on Facebook. Also, next week, we'll be talking to Ebony Kyle. So make sure you stay tuned for more information when she'll be on. And I'm also all over all social media that you can think of, I can think of. I'm on Periscope now under Comma Speaks, Twitter, YouTube, no, not YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest. I usually do an order. I'm forgetting my order. Pinterest, YouTube, Twitter. What else am I on? Google Plus, Instagram. I'm all over the place. Also, I have a nonprofit. So for the month of July, I am collecting old cell phones. I'm doing this in partnership with Verizon. With Verizon Wireless, what they're doing is they're helping to stop and prevent domestic violence. I was a victim of domestic violence, and it's important for me to give back the best way that I can. So if you have telephones from anywhere across the United States, I think even across the country, let me know. You can inbox me at here's another email, @lovingmefirst.org. And I will be able to get you a shipping label, so that way I can email it to you and you can ship all the phones. If people want to collect phones from me, that would be awesome. So make sure you stay tuned for more great interviews such as this one. Make sure that your marriage and your relationship is important. Communicate, get to love who you are first, get to know who you are first, and make sure you check me out tonight. I have another show on Blog Talk Radio for Loving Me First. I'll be talking to a young lady that was in a domestic violence relationship, and her boyfriend shot himself after she left him. And it's a crazy story, but I can't wait to talk to Danielle. It's going to be great. Thank you so much for tuning in again, Sharmaine. Thank you so much for being a guest on my show. Hope you guys. You are welcome, and I hope you guys share this replay. You can watch it over and over and over again. Support Sharmaine. She had a big group of fans that wanted to know what was going on. I just checked my message, and somebody said, "Oh my gosh, I wasn't able to get on." So I told them to go watch the replay. That's the beauty of our technology on today. Again, thank you so much for watching, and remember, no matter what you do in life, always pursue your passion.